It gives you a possibility mentality. And one of the characters in scriptures that highlights this for us is the man called David. In First Samuel chapter 17, I believe verse 36, David was talking about your servant, referring to himself, telling Saul the king now, kill the lion, kill the bear when they came for the flocks he had in the bush. And therefore, on that previous victory he has had, he was very sure he was going to take down the uncircumcised Philistine Goliath, whom was defying the armies of the living God. You can see the confidence was built on what God had helped him achieve in the past. So you may take your studies casually now, but you're not certain. You're welcome to Scholars Diary with me, Gospel Ikpotokin. And this is an invitation for you to essentially come up higher in your studies, in your career, and not to settle for mediocrity in any of your endeavors. Now, this is episode 1, and I want to share something important with you. I believe strongly that you'll find this useful as you commence the year 2026. And so today, I want to share with you why God demands excellence from you. It's very important that all of us, every one of us, if you're watching this video, you strive to be excellent. And I'll share 5 reasons why this is the case. In the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 23, it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as unto the Lord and not as unto man. You'd also recall in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, I believe, verse 29, it says, seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings and not mean men. So, repeatedly in scriptures, we can see this emphasis on being excellent, being a diligent person. And we have a couple of examples. We have Joseph, we have Daniel, we have these men who stood out, and we could see the impact that they had in their generation, in their times. The same goes for us today. God has spaces he wants to send us into, and one of the currencies that we will need to have is excellence. And so the first thing I want to share with you today is the fact that excellence is a universal leverage. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not a master key in that by itself, it's not going to open every door, but it's a substance that when you have, a lot of other things can come and ride on that to give you access to doors that otherwise you may not have had, or it would have been very difficult for you to access those doors. And so God is very happy to ride on excellence when you have it in terms of your results, in terms of your character in some cases. And of course, God works through men, and you can have access to, like I've said already, some odd spaces that would have been difficult for you to access. I've had personal experiences that I would not want to bore you with, to start sharing them with you, but I do have to remind myself sometimes that maybe life is not as easy as my journey so far may make it look like. Don't get it wrong. I've had, personal challenges, difficulties, but I also know that God has helped me, favor wise. And excellence is one of the core ingredients that has made my journey somewhat easier than it would have been if it weren't so. And then you also have to remember that sometimes, there is stiff competition, whether when you're applying for a job after graduation or you're trying to get into a new job, a new role, thousands of applicants, your CV, your resume usually gets into the room before you do. What's your CV saying about you? What's your resume saying about you? Is there an attestation that you're someone who has been diligent, who has given his or herself to studying, who has given his or herself to, pursuing excellence in its entirety? Also called to be someone who excels in character wise. And if you're a student, this is specifically for you. When you graduate, your referees, your lecturers, your tutors, they'll be very much excited to write you reference letters, as occasion demands when you're applying for either studies abroad or a new career path that you want to venture into. So that's the first thing. Excellence is a universal leverage. It's something that it's worth having. The second thing I want to share with you is that it gives you a possibility mentality. And one of the characters in scriptures that highlights this for us is the man called David. In First Samuel chapter 17, I believe verse 36, David was talking about your servant, referring to himself, telling Saul the king now, kill the lion, kill the bear when they came for the flocks he had in the bush. And therefore, on that previous victory he has had, he was very sure he was going to take down the uncircumcised Philistine Goliath, whom was defying the armies of the living God. You can see the confidence was built on what God had helped him achieve in the past. So you may take your studies casually now, but you're not certain. We know in part, as scriptures like to put it, you're not certain what God would have you do in future, the challenges he would have you solve. And if you're not grounded in diverse areas, the diverse aspects of whatever program you're running, you may have challenges furthering in a specific field in future. I'll give you an example. So in clinical, parlance practice, there's a specialty called neurosurgery, which you will be familiar with whether you're a doctor or not. Very popular neurosurgeon in the world, Ben Carson, is someone who he has walked this path before. And then in medical school, undergraduate training, neuroscience, including neuroanatomy, neurophysiology, it's one of the most difficult courses that preclinical students will usually encounter. Now, you can imagine a student who, let's say, failed repeatedly in that area and eventually just passed marginally. If he or she gets out of school and then realizes there is a passion, a stirring to go into neurosurgery as a specialty, it would be more difficult for that kind of student than the other one who probably excelled, and thrived, because that's the foundation. Anatomy, physiology, those understanding will be what you're expected to build on. So you need excellent results where you are now for where you are going tomorrow. I need you to have that I can do mentality. It's very important if you'll be successful later in life. And the next, number three, would be you should identify yourself as a faithful steward. So God demands this from you because He'll want to give you more. And scripture says in the book of Luke, I believe, chapter 16, verse 10, he that is faithful in little will be faithful in more. And so before God gives you more, you have to show yourself faithful. And anytime I see a student, a person, a career person whom has results that are worthy of applause, worthy of emulation, it usually tells me at least two things about this individual. First, he or she was a good steward of time. Time is one currency that we all have equally, but depending on how you use it, that would determine the results, the achievements that you get, right? So that's one of it. The second thing is also the fact that he or she has been a good steward of intelligence, their mind, their intellect. They've been good stewards of it. We all have brains, but again, depending on how we use it, scriptures will talk about by reason of use, some persons have had their senses. That was with reference to discernment, but bringing it into this context, the same thing. By reason of how you've worked hard, you will see results that otherwise, if you are just giving very little effort, you may not have accomplished. And then, even when you have accomplished this result, sometimes when you're excellent, there are little bits of fame here and there. Some other opportunities open up, and it would also be a test for you from God to see if you would remain humble. Now, humility here, I'm not just talking about outward, characters. Some people, their temperament may make them appear humble, but I'm speaking more with reference to you acknowledging God as your source, the source of your intelligence, the primary source of the results that you've gotten, even though obviously you've put in efforts, right? So these will be opportunities for God to see. And then after graduation, perhaps, more will be committed into your hands. So this is an avenue I'm challenging you for you to identify yourself as a faithful steward so that more can be given to you in future. I want you to think about great people, whether in the secular world, in business. Like I know sometimes we joke around the fact that C students, maybe become CEOs and then employ the A student, but it's not necessarily always so. Some of the great persons in the world today, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, if you read their stories, they were very, very hardworking, diligent, smart as young people. And even when you come to Christendom, some of the great figures we have, you can trace them back to much when they were younger, very diligent, very smart, most of them having first classes, distinctions, as the case may be. And so this your season of being in training in school as an early career person is an opportunity for you to tell God that I am deserving of more. Number four is God likes to brag with his children. You can imagine God, speaking about Job in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 8, was telling Satan, have you seen my servant Job? In Genesis, God will speak about Abraham and say confidently, I know Abraham, that he will command his household, his children after me. God spoke severally about people, in scripture, spoke about Daniel, spoke about Noah with reference to their righteousness. Can God speak about you that way? Would God be, proud to say, I have a son, I have a daughter? The challenge we're having in this sector, whether it's finance, the media, the health space, I have a child who can solve that problem for you. So God desires these of us so that he can send us out. He can send us out into the different mountains of influence in the cosmos, as the case may be, right? So that we can take these places for him. So this is again for you a wake-up call for us to, you know, start asking of God, what can we do for you? And if he's going to send us out there, we have to be good representatives. We have to be quality representatives of the kingdom that has sent us forth. And then finally, excellence is your identity. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 31, scriptures would, tell us about just wrapping up the creation story. First, we see God, the attribute of creation, his power from the spoken words and all of that. But at the end of everything, the quality attributed to what God made is that he saw it and it was very good, very good. And so we see this as his nature. And likewise for us, whom we've been created in his image after his likeness, we cannot fall short. It's impossible. We are not expected to fall short. We have to look like the one who has made us. We have to look like the one who has given us life. So why should you be something else? Why should you be a mediocre? Why should you settle for average, right? So I need you to be thinking this way in the year 2026. And I'm praying for you that the Lord causes a stirring in your heart, a desire to be more, a desire to do more, to blow off, the limits of your capacity. And he will send you mentors. He will send you those persons who will guide you on the right path to take. So start 2026 on a positive note, on a high note. And I'm rooting for you definitely all the way. I'm going to be seeing you week in, week out, and the next episode will be episode 2. Until then, do take care of yourselves. Once again, this is Gospel Ikpotokin on Scholar's Diary. God bless you.